Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my precious pack, and welcome back once more to Vega Conflict. Today I don't want to talk about anything in specific for once, I just kind of want to attack some targets and just actually get out some gameplay with commentary involved. But I want to talk about the Harvester a little bit as well, because a few people say it's useless, a few people have found uses for it, and I found a use for it that actually coincides with my current goals of upgrading and building up my behemoth. I need certain armors for it, as with every ship from the Umbra faction, ablative armor is going to be a necessity. I found out that my current fitting for the Harvester surprisingly can take out Miscreant 80s. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hop over to one real quick, I'm going to show you that attack, then we're going to jump back to my base. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Harvester fitting, as well as the superior fittings for PvP, or general farming and stuff like that for higher level targets. But let's go ahead and let's go take a look at a Miscreant 80. Okay, welcome back to the live commentary, and this is going to be the same attack I've been performing this entire time against the Miscreant 80, and you can take out and completely fill the cargo of the Dreadnought, the Harvester, before you have to actually return to empty your cargo. Well, you can actually, what I meant to say was, you can attack 7 targets, 7 Miscreant 80s, for free repair time, before you have to return to empty your cargo or anything like that. And the first 2 targets I focused down just because they tend to get the closest, and the rest of the time they don't breach the shields, and everyone will probably ask this, but I'm using Burr on this fleet right now for the shield bonus, and I'm working on leveling him up to increase it even further. But I see it as being the more beneficial bonus that is currently active for this ship. Now, I know it's not using energy weapons, I'm using only the swarms, but as you can see, it'll have no repair time or anything like that on the ship. And when the grind targets are released for the Harvesters, I'm going to attack them. I'm going to do a short guide on fighting the targets, as well as what the Harvester can be fitted for, and what its uses can be in everyone's control to help them advance. In my case, I want ablative armor. Okay, now let's wait to see that repair time. 10 seconds. 10 seconds for a Miscreant 80, only using the Harvester, and my Commander Burr isn't leveled up all that much. He's only level 29, I believe, right now. So he's not providing very much to the shielding either. But let's go ahead and let's talk about the Harvester for a minute. So far, I've been able to farm targets that I would typically avoid due to repair time concerns, due to poor balancing, with only about 10 minutes of repair time for taking out 3 of the targets. Now, I'm not going to attack the breacher targets because of the fast movement speed on the targets, as well as the high damage, especially for the shield bypass of the plasma dealing bastions that are in the fleet, because as we all know, the Harvester has no resistance against plasma damage, so it's a bit weak in that regard. But when you can actually outrange most of the targets, you can use its movement speed, it actually does fairly well, as you all saw. And it can fight back fairly well to add on top of that. The repair time is, it's a Dreadnought, so it's going to have extremely low repair time for a decent amount of health. But the number of targets that can actually be hit with the Harvester alone is fairly limited due to the damage per second of the ship, as well as whatever you fit on it. But remember, if you boost it through harmonics, you can increase its movement speed, the forward speed. You can increase the damage, you can increase the shield capacity as well. All of those 3 things positively affect it. And I'm going to play around with a few separate fittings, not for the Harvester, but for my support fleet. Right now I'm building the standard Pegasus fleet that I use with my Behemoth as well. Instead of just taking them, I'm just going to make more of them, because I'm not using the ship factory for anything right now. I've built most of my ships, and I'm just building Umbra credits now at this point. But I'm going to see what I can do. upon the release of the harvester targets, or whatever drops the harvester fragments for everyone, because from what I understand, what I've seen, you only need 1,000 to craft it, so all you have to do to farm up your dreadnought is going to be much, much easier than farming up the behemoths that I'm currently dealing with and upgrading. But upon their release, I'll go ahead and I'll hit a few of them, and I'll see just how difficult they are, and I'll see how easily a certain tier can take them out. But this is all that I majorly wanted to talk about, was just show a little bit of attack power, talk a little bit about the harvester, and just sit back and have a little bit of fun for once. And I'm going to try and do this a little bit more often as I find other targets that are higher level but a little bit more difficult, but not impossible to beat without losing everything, with the harvester, the dreadnoughts in general. And as more dreadnoughts are released, I will talk about them and play around with them in separate videos, more or less just so that I can see what they can do, as well as have a bit of fun. And I would like to put a little bit of emphasis on that. For anyone who's bored, you can always use your harvester for a bit of fun. You can take it, and you can throw it at any number of fleets you want. The outcome will always vary depending on the level and the target. But the one thing you should always remember is it's effectively a supersized suppressor with next to no movement speed. Yes, I had to say that. It literally is just a supersized suppressor with limited movement speed. It also has some insanely powerful combat capacity, depending on the fitting. And again, mine is all just for the aesthetic appeal, it's not actually meant for combat. But when I do find something that it can farm extremely easily, like the Miscreants, oh boy, it's going to be a good time. But that's going to be it, everybody. Go ahead and share some stories about your harvester fun thus far down below in the comments section, things like that. I'd like to hear what all of you think about the harvester so far and what you've been doing with yours. But that's going to be it for this video, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's fun to actually take a break from talking about an event or something like that, just hitting a target and having a little bit of fun every now and then. I'll try and do that a little bit more often on the channel as well, along with the more informative videos that I release. But stay safe out there in the void, everybody. Be in good health, be in goodwill, be in good everything for that matter. And as always, everybody, I'll see you in the next video.